In the South African region, the most militant and most effective of the nationalist movements was that of the Afrikaners. The Afrikaners, or as well referred to as the Boers, are people of Dutch origin that settled at South Africa. They were believed to have founded Cape Town through the instrumentality of the Dutch East India Company. This Cape Town was founded by the Dutch East India Company that was supposed to be a ground or platform for replenishing of materials, food and water by the companies or the travelers or the merchant ships that were plying to India. The entrance of the people of British origin in Cape Town brought some changes. Gradually, the influence of the British started making impact, and this didn't go down well with the Afrikaners. The area was known as the three major element area. The area here we mean South Africa. The three major element areas. These three major element areas were the Afrikaners, the Africans or the Bantus, African tribes, and the third one was the English-speaking South Africans who were of British origin. Please, if you're watching us for the very first time, subscribe to our channel and click on the notification icon so that anytime we drop a new content, you will be one of the earliest persons to be notified. We appreciate your comments and contributions. According to Colin Legon, he stated that these three elements, the Boers or the Afrikaners, the British elements that were the English-speaking South Africans, and Africans who were the Bantus as well, have been involved in a three-sided struggle for power over 3 centuries. Each side had tried to either dominate the other two or to avoid being dominated by the others. But while the Boer and the British rivalries remained keen until the 1930s, the permanent feature of the relationship between the races in South Africa has been the desire of the two communities of European stock to maintain white supremacy. The triangular struggle produced 3 types of nationalism: Afrikaner, African, and South African. The Afrikaner nationalism was the most militant in South Africa. Its 2 traditional enemies were the British and the Africans. Although the Boer were of Dutch origin, they were not comfortable with Dutch rule. In the first phase of their nationalism, they not only rejected Dutch rule, but Dutch culture as well. They desired to be a distinct group. This led to the generation of a language of their own called Afrikaans. The Afrikaans language is, however, rooted in Dutch language with some variations. The quest for a distinct language was meant to create national consciousness among the Boers. Some of these Boers, as at that period, saw themselves as people liberated from whatsoever they believed in or whatsoever they believed that happened to them. Colin Legun went ahead to state that right from the start, the Boer saw themselves, and they still do, as God-chosen people to bring civilization to the barbarians. To fulfill this sacred mission, they feel themselves called to maintain their blood purity, their religion, their culture. Otherwise, they fear that because of their numerical smallness, they will be drawn in the sea of barbarism. They believed it necessary for the fulfillment of their higher purpose in Africa that they must keep political control in the hands of white civilization by maintaining complete political and social segregation between the whites and non-whites. Fortified by this belief in their divine duty and armed with the Bible and gun, the Boer felt themselves to be invincible. This became the focal point for their nationalist activity. Africans suffered a lot by the nationalist activities of the Boers. Although they were individualists in approach, but the Boers as well combined for security reasons. For 3/4 of a century, from 1775, they fought 9 wars with the Bantu, or the African tribes. They fought the Xhosa-speaking people. These wars resulted in their continued expansion into the interior, which were occupied by Afrikaners. This signified their great trek out of Cape Town. The interior movement, which was as well carried out to avoid British control, led to the establishment of some Boer republics. Some of them were the Orange Free State, and Transvaal, and also Natal or Natalia Republic. The formation of these republics consolidated the Afrikaner national consciousness. Although this consolidation or this consolidated their interests, it brought more challenges to them. This was because they went deeper, or as they went deeper, they established more African enemies. They as well could not count on the support of the colonial powers in Cape Town. They were able to subdue most of the oppositions they got from the African tribes because of their superior firepower, which was no match for the spears of the Zulu army. Their disagreement with the British did not end as a result of them moving to the interior. Their interest was to throw off the British yoke and to establish their own way of life. The British, on the other hand, had their own interest in the hinterland, or the interior of South Africa. The British Empire was especially interested in the Kimberley diamond fields, and as well the Waterrand gold fields. The British as well were also very much keen in keeping open the northern routes. To achieve this, the British kept pushing the Boers. The harder the British pushed the Boers, the more they fought back. This friction between the Boer and the British created some level of unity among the Boers or the Afrikaners in most republics. Its new found sense of unity was promoted by the 3 years of South Africa War fought between the Boers and the British from 1899 to 1901. The Afrikaner Nationals or nations was defeated militarily, but it was not conquered. The Afrikaner spirit remained alive in the political, religious, and cultural organizations. This can be found in some of the institutions that existed. For instance, the Dutch Reformed Church was the church of the Boer nation, and it remained intact. This church played a very important role in the quest to strengthen segregational political and social system in South Africa. This segregation was determined or was detrimental to the blacks. The church leader later apologized for supporting apartheid system. Another institution was the Society of True Afrikaners that was formed in 1875, and as well a journal named Dear Patriot, which was established in 1876. The British-controlled Liberal government in South Africa decided in 1907 to restore freedom to the defeated Boer republics in order to create a unified state. This led to the formation in 1910 of the Union of South Africa. The Afrikaner Nationalists were not convinced on the genuineness of the British Empire. They saw the Union as a British creation, infused with British ideas and dominated by people whose home country was Britain. Those Afrikaners that joined the British to form the Union were denounced as traitors by their people. This affected the quest for unity government, but as a progressive reality, the Afrikaners, in combination with the British, effectively implemented segregational activities and policies in South Africa. Please, if you're watching us for the very first time, subscribe to our channel and click on the notification icon so that anytime we drop a new content, you'll be one of the earliest persons to be notified. We will as well appreciate your contribution and your input, and also your support in any way you can. You can contact us for support to sponsor our videos or whatever you intend to do for us. Thanks for being part of this channel.